a Sunday Q&A. So I didn't do one for the last 2 weeks, maybe a week, maybe 2 weeks. I can't remember, but we're back. We're doing a Sunday Q&A. And the reason I wanted to do the Sunday Q&A today is because I wanted to video to go and watch, because tomorrow at midnight is the last day. It's like the final day. So the more people that can watch it, I really don't know how they're going to be judging this thing, but hopefully it's by views, because right now my video is the top video. So I have the most views in the whole competition, which is nice, except for this one guy that is right below me. And I'm pretty sure he's buying his views, because he has like 19,000 views in like 2 comments. So, I'm not saying anything bad, but all my shit is organic, which is nice, which I appreciate all of you guys watching it. So that being said, if you haven't watched it, go check it out, and we'll just kind of do a normal Sunday Q&A. Hopefully I could get to I was hoping I could get like 25,000 views on it, but I don't think I'm going to get another like 5,000 views in a day. So it is what it is. Hopefully, I get to the next stage, because I think there's like 3 more stages after this one. And the final stage is actually going to a racetrack. The last 2 people have to race against each other. So, hopefully it's a road course. I mean, I'm all right at drags, but I'd rather be doing some road course stuff. So we'll see what happens. What's going on? Hello from Santa Fe Springs, California. Awesome job. Thanks. Congrats on the most views. Thanks. How you doing? Not too bad. I was trying to get the GTO video done for tomorrow, but for some reason, I feel like ATI didn't machine the hubs correctly on the crank pulley, and I ordered a different installer, and hopefully it works tomorrow, because this thing is about halfway on and she doesn't want to go any further at all. So we'll see what happens, but and she's sticking way too far out. You can see, it's a little bit, you really can't tell from the video, but this is further forward. You can kind of see it now, but hopefully that installer comes tonight and I can get this thing finished pressing it all the way on. I got one side of headers on. Oh, I actually welded some V-band flanges onto these. So we have a new O2 sensor. We have V-band flanges instead of it being welded directly to the exhaust. Don't ask me why they did that, but I can't wait to hear this thing. I also need to put the spark plugs in, and I ordered some new poly mounts, but I don't think they're going to be here till after I put it in. So I'll probably just replace those later on down the road, because the other ones only have like 90,000 miles on them. They should be perfectly fine, hopefully. So besides that, the Durango, the paint booth should be here hopefully by the end of the week, which will be nice. And then we could see some green on the Durango. I've just been letting this thing kind of bake in the sun. It's had a few warm days, which has been nice. But besides that, I can't wait to see it green. Watched a few times. Thanks. Hi from Cape Town. What's going on? Yo, Dave. Dave, would you get an electric vehicle? So, would I get an electric vehicle? I mean, they're cool, probably, but the whole point behind the Grand Prix, which I'm waiting for a new set of injectors for this. So my issue why this thing wouldn't run was, well, I'm still not 100% sure, but it runs with the fuel pump disconnected. So I think what's happening is these injectors have been sitting so long, I think multiple ones are just sticking open. So I ordered a new set of injectors for the Grand Prix. She sounds pretty good when she starts, but the point behind the Grand Prix was to make the ultimate I'm going to say the ultimate sleeper, but the ultimate hybrid, or yeah, hybrid sleeper. So if this is like the first time you're hearing of this, 750 horsepower LS in the front, turbo LS, and then we have the big boy drive unit, which I'm still waiting on AEM EV to create the board for the sport unit, and this is the large sport drive unit. So this comes in the Model X P100 with like ludicrous mode. These are like 750 to 800 horsepower instantly. So that's what's going into the back of the Grand Prix. So we'll have like 750, and she's gonna rip. So once they finish making that board that goes into the drive unit, I'll probably start fitting it before that, but I want to get this all buttoned up and running and driving with the Holley Terminator X. She's really close. It runs on the ECU. It just, when you plug the fuel pump in, I think it just overfuels it. And when it is plugged in and it primes, I think it instantly floods it. So once those injectors come, swap them out. We'll get some nice new injectors in there, and hopefully she just finally fires up and runs and idles great, because when the fuel pump isn't plugged in, she idles great. So I kind of want to take the mufflers out of this thing, but it's kind of nice that they're in there because it's just like a nice lope. Let's see. What are you guys saying? Pet peeves, not necessarily car related. Pet peeves that aren't car related. I would say like the biggest thing, I don't know. Most of my stuff is like people driving. It's just like, why are you doing this? Why are you doing that? It's like, I just talk to I probably should just do a video of me like driving around and just talking shit to people, but like they can't hear it. It's just me talking shit to people, to myself, because they're doing stupid stuff. But I think that's like most of the things that bother me is when people don't know how to drive. So, or like when people, like literally you're going onto like a highway that's 80 miles an hour, and they're going to enter the highway doing like 30. It's like, no, this isn't how it works. So, and then I guess another thing would probably be like parts. Parts are such a pain. I mean, before I started doing YouTube and I actually had, a normal engineering job, I never really thought about like getting parts quick. I mean, it was always, I wish it was here today. I wish it was here today, etc. But at the end of the day, when you're doing YouTube and building stuff for YouTube videos to make content, you're just like, man, it's been weeks and weeks. Like the crank pulley, it took a month and a half. I think it was a month and a half to get that crank pulley, and it might have been machined wrong. So I might have to pull that off, and I'll probably just take it to the college and just use some sandpaper to open it up a little bit, because there's supposed to be a press fit, but it's only it says what I probably could figure it out too. I mean, it's an equation, but we'll see. We'll get the installer. If she doesn't want to go any further, I'm just gonna pull it off with a puller and give her a little bit of a clearance check. Or what I could do is make it a slip fit. I could take the crank out of the engine. See, this is going down a rabbit hole. So I could pull the crank out of the engine, then I could put it on the machine at the machine shop, cut another Woodruff key, so then the crank pulley just slides on there like they should anyway. And yeah, I don't want to do that because it's going to take longer, but maybe eventually, maybe if I blow the engine up or something. But Grand Prix is Model X rear drive unit, V8 front. Hell yeah. How long till this is finished from Boston? The Grand Prix, or what are you talking about? Dave's not playing on the Grand Prix. I just wanted like, so what might end up happening with the Grand Prix? So the Grand Prix is a cool car. Don't get me wrong, but it's a 4-door. I mean, it's just, I don't know. It looks cool. Oh, whoops. Here, let's do this. It looks cool. Here, let me clean this camera too. It's kind of dirty. This one too. Okay. Okay, we're back. I don't know what happened. I have no clue what happened here. The live stream just did some weird stuff. Okay, so the Grand Prix, it looks cool, but at the end of the day, it's a Grand Prix. The front ends, they look weird. They never really look that great. And the body kits they make for them, they are what they are. I mean, this car could be a cool car. Don't get me wrong. But what I kind of really want to do is I want to take this is a possibility. I'm not sure if I'm going to do it yet. I kind of want to take the LS4 with the 4T80 out of the Grand Prix, stick it in the back of an MR2, put the Tesla drive unit in the front of an MR2, and have like this crazy JDM hybrid LS turbo crazy car. But I want to get everything working in the Grand Prix first, because the Grand Prix is kind of like the validation if it's going to work well together and to get everything synced up and working. But we'll see where it ends up, because maybe I like the Grand Prix because it is going to be a heavy car. MR2s, I don't really mind cutting this car up. An MR2 kind of mind, but if I got like maybe an NA1 that was maybe wrecked a little bit or something, maybe not, but we'll see what happens. I want to get this all to work in the Grand Prix first is what's going to happen. And then I could maybe fine tune it later on in something else, or I could just leave in the Grand Prix. Not 100% sure. So Patrick sent me $34.99 New Zealand. I appreciate that, man. Keep up the great work, Dave. New Zealand is open borders. Suzuki's are still here. Hell yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I want to, I think you have to fly through, like, by Russia, though. And go to New Zealand. I don't know. I really want to go to New Zealand. I want to go to New Zealand. I want to go to Australia. I really, whenever all that BS started, I think it was like 2019, my plan for like that, I think 2020, the summer of 2020 was to go to like Japan, Australia, like a bunch of places. I think it was the summer of 2020, whenever that was. But the summer, I wanted to go to all these places, and then everything got closed down. I was just like, oh man, this is just like a nightmare. And then it was just like never ended. So hopefully everything just kind of just flattens back out, and we could just do whatever we want to again, and it's not all crazy again. But yeah, I want to go to New Zealand. I want to go to Australia. I also want to go to Japan. I actually want to go to Russia, but and probably like maybe through Europe and some places around there. But we'll see. Everything right now, everything's been crazy for like the last 3 years or something. It's kind of stupid, but I appreciate that, Patrick. Maybe one day we'll get the New Zealand's hooked up, or the Suzuki's. How long till the wagon's done? Let's see. The subframe, I had the order sent off to Send on Thursday, like I said. So I should hopefully be seeing that Wednesday. I'm hoping it's going to be here Wednesday. The front subframe finished up. Once that's finished up, I'm going to shoot up to Denver. Hayden said he'd weld it up, and I'll have him then come down, powder coat it. We'll throw it in the car. Then I just have to make lower control arms and what else? Oh, the knuckles. I almost forgot about the knuckles. So if you know anybody that has, I guess somebody said that if you have access to SEMA's CAD section, you could download the CAD files for certain vehicles, like suspension files or body files or whatever you need. And if anybody has this ability, just to DM me on Instagram, because I need 3D scans. I really don't need them, but I've already designed a front knuckle for the Charger, but I want to validate it with against something that's already, like a 3D scan of something. And I think if I could get like access to that, or somebody could give me like a Trackhawk front knuckle file and a Charger Hellcat front knuckle file, it has to be like a Hellcat. But then I could get everything buttoned up, get those knuckles made, get the lower control arms made, which the lower control arms will be made in probably by the end of next week, I'd say. So we'll have the lower control arms, and then the knuckles will have to be sent off to the CNC machine shop, because I'm going to have them made out of billet aluminum. And then engine tranny into the car. We'll have to have custom drive shafts made. Then I just need to order axles, because the axles that are in are factory Trackhawk ones. The front ones were all burnt, so I'd need to order stock ones anyway, so I'll just order upgraded ones. So 4 axles, drive shafts, then the car will be on the ground rolling on all the drivetrain. And then after that, it's just wiring and interior. That's it. Wiring, interior. And then a front windshield. We throw the front wind. I wanted to wait to put the front windshield in, because it's a lot easier to put the headliner in through the front windshield hole. So the reason why I took the Durango front windshield out is the headliner only can come out the front. It can't go out the back, because the back is more narrow than the front is. So headliner in the front, but that's the reason why there's no Charger front windshield. So I'll get all the wiring done, get the headliner made and done, which that'll be really quick, get it covered in Alcantara. And when you have a headliner covered in Alcantara, if you crease it, you're pretty much screwed. So it has to go on the front windshield, because then there's no chances of creasing it, because you don't have to, it'll literally slip right in, which is nice. But there's quite a few things that have to be done. Oh, fuel tank. Also a fuel tank. So there's quite a bit of stuff that needs to be done, but it's all like custom fabricated stuff. Pretty much everything. The interior and the wiring will pretty much be factory, but the headliner's custom. And those quarter glasses, I think those will probably be literally the last thing I make or have somebody make, because I don't know how to make glass. So I'll have them made, have them tempered, and they'll be good to go. So let's see. When do you take ownership of the junkyard? So this building that I'm in at the junkyard, they're supposed to clear all their stuff out of it. And I'll be moving all my stuff from my other shop down here. And then I'll have everything down here, which will be awesome. So really, I can't wait, because what I want to do is I want to make this shop the dedicated, like, work on stuff / like, some body work. I don't really want to have too much body work going on in here, but I'll have to do some in here. But then this stuff in here, I pretty much want to get rid of this lift. This lift is like for a semi or like a diesel truck. It's a big lift. It takes up a lot of space. And then what I want to do is all this stuff's going to be gone. Then I could pretty much park some cars right over there. Then I could have some 4-posts over there. Then the lift will be in this shop, and I won't, I'll have all my, I'll be able to work on stuff in here and kind of stage stuff and not have a bunch of stuff in the shop that I'm working on a car. And then I'll always have the lift open, because I could put the car in the shop over there, and then, I just roll it out on the pad, roll it back into the shop, or I could roll it in through this door right here. Oh man, forgot. Roll it in through this door right here. It'll just be a lot easier. So, and it'll be a lot more fluid, so I could get more stuff done. So, like, I've been wanting to pull the engine out of Supra, pull the engine out of the Polestar GTIR, and refresh them. But they're over at my other shop. I also want to paint the engine bay in the FD, powder coat the subframe in the FD, clean up the front suspension, maybe undercoat the fender wells and stuff, and then get the engine back into the FD with the transmission. And everything, pretty much everything is designed on that. So I could put all that intake manifold and stuff back on there, get it retuned on the new turbo, and drive it, and then put the new intake manifold on once it comes. So it'll be a lot easier when everything is in one spot. It's been kind of a nightmare with having everything in multiple places, not having tools. I've talked about this before, but it'll be so much nicer once I just have everything in one spot. I need a Hellcat swap for my Mopar. So Hellcat swaps, I mean, you see a lot of them on forums. I mean, I've seen them too, and they're like $12,000 or $15,000. But the issue with those are they're probably stolen, and the best thing to do when you get a swap is to get a whole car, especially if you're going to swap it in a Magnum. You just get a charger, then you have all the wiring. The biggest issue with a swap is having all of the wiring. If you don't have that wiring, I mean, not just the engine wiring that goes DC, like whole car wiring, because it's just so much easier to swap when you have it. Let's see. Dodge Charger Hellcat Magnum. Trevor's looking at a Junkyard too. Will you help him? He's just, yeah, he's looking at one to rent. It's not really a junkyard anymore. It used to be a junkyard. Let's see. No one's flying over Russia. Instead of an MR2, do a Fiero. There's a lot more options as far as putting an LS in it. Maybe. Work on cars in Cuba. Do you care about baseball? So I've never really been interested in like any sports, not even like watching racing. My dad always used to watch racing, and I was just like, why are you watching this? Just do it. So racing, any of that stuff. It's just, to me, it'd be more fun to do it than to watch it. But I understand why people watch it. I just have never gotten into it. Have you built the engine for the wagon yet? I'd love to see an episode or two of you going over the block and all the components and why you chose what. So, haven't built the engine yet. What's probably going to end up happening is I'm going to just swap a stock Trackhawk drivetrain or stock Trackhawk drivetrain in there at the 700 horsepower, and then I'll throw a built tranny and engine in it later. It'll probably simplify things a lot just to make sure everything works and it runs and stuff, and then it'll be easy to throw an engine and tranny in there. Plus, if there's anything I want to change after I drive it, subframe wise, suspension wise, if something doesn't work or something like that, then I can go and change it when I drop that engine out of there in the tranny. So to swap it with the built one. Plus, I want to dry sump it eventually, which I don't know if it'll happen sooner or later, but we'll see. Do prices rising in what? How's that donut contest going? So right now, so the contest ends tomorrow at midnight. Right now, I have the most viewed video. So hopefully, I'm moving on to the next stage. I have no clue how they're going to judge it, which is, it's one of those things. But what I'm hoping for is I can get, like, it'd be nice to have like 25,000 views. I'm at like almost 21,000 views. So if I got like, to 25, I'd be safe because, I've seen this dude and he's been buying views, which is kind of on the shady side, but we'll see what happens. Hopefully I get to the next stage. It'd be nice to get to the next stage with like the most viewed video and kind of be like, the person on top. I mean, I've been working on the charger for a long time and Mopar content, so I feel like, not that I deserve it, but kind of that, I've done so much that I kind of like to get to that point that I've kind of, got the following for the Dodge content. That's why people watched the video, I feel like. So hopefully it pays off, and then I could do some more cool stuff with these cars that I already have and some new ideas that I also have. So I have some stuff up here that I kind of have planned if I get it. So watch out. Watch out. Even with cash, there's not as much things available. I mean, there seems, I don't know. Will you hold on? Will you still be making the wagon rear carbon fiber liftgate? Yes, I plan on making that. That's going to be once the car is probably 100% finished, and that's like just something extra that I want to do, because I don't want to go and be pulling the glass out of it right now, and there's shortages on materials still and all kinds of stuff with the resin and carbon fiber material. So once the car's done, we'll get the carbon fiber hatch and everything finished up. How's the custom Magnum Trackhawk rear deck spoiler going from Black Ops? So Black Ops sent it back, and I'm going to be, because UPS actually damaged it in shipping. I'm not exactly sure how they did it, but the edges got chipped off and stuff, so they're probably like throwing it around. But I just need to put it on a Magnum outside, fix that stuff. What I'm going to end up doing is making a mold of it and then just send them the mold. So, or maybe I'll make like a mini part, or make like a fiberglass part, leave it in the mold, just so there isn't any chances. Or maybe even when I go to California over the summer, I'm going to maybe just take it to the guy so I don't have to worry about shipping companies messing it up. So it's still in the works. It's been a long process, and it's all UPS's fault. All UPS. Afternoon, Dave. What's going on? Silicon crisis, I suppose. What about groceries? I mean, most of the time, I usually just eat out. So I don't know. I go to restaurants and they have food, so I don't know. Robert Walters, donate $10. I appreciate that, man. Really enjoy your videos. Was wondering if Cletus McFarland get a hold of to race in the Freedom 500. He was looking for people to race. I mentioned your name. I never heard from him. I mean, we've met before. I mean, and talked and partied and did some stuff, but yeah, I haven't heard from him. So I mean, I'm not that large of a channel to be. I mean, all the people that he has on his Freedom 500 races, or million subscriber channels, and like pro like race car drivers and stuff. I just build cars. So I don't know, maybe eventually, one day, hopefully. I appreciate that though. Let's see, my car has CVT. It's stuck in 4th gear. It won't shift. I wonder, that's probably like I don't even know how that would happen, because it's just like I guess if the one thing, maybe there's an actuator bad in it. Oh, when will the Hellcat wagon be ready? Eventually. 3rd gear. I really enjoy your videos. I was wondering if Cletus McFarland got a hold of you to race in the Freedom 500. I mentioned your name. Thanks. Dave, chance of a British car build, Lotus or TBR? I don't know if I'd fit in a Lotus. I was looking at like an older one, but I'm not sure. Maybe. I want to get a lot of things done before. I keep saying I'm not going to take on any more projects, and then I keep buying stuff, but they're deals, and you can't pass up deals. So the GTO was a deal. I mean, anybody would have bought the GTO. The Integra was a deal. Anybody would have bought the Integra. But those are, I don't know, the GTO technically isn't like a super difficult build. I mean, I was just fixing the engine, putting it back together. I added a bunch of crazy parts to it, but it's not like I'm gonna I'm gonna probably eventually paint it and do body work on it, because it it looks pretty clean, but there's some fading and stuff like that going on. So eventually, I want it to look good. Since they're getting pretty rare and that's a low mile car, I'll probably end up keeping it. So that's just another car that I didn't think I was going to add to my collection that I did. But I want to get the Durango done, the Grand Prix, the Pulsar, the Supra. I want to get my FD running and driving again. I want to get the engine bay painted, get the engine back in it. The 3000 GT, I just need to finish painting a few little random miscellaneous parts, the side skirts, some fascia parts, and get that 100% back together, painted. The rear bumper, I need to modify a few things on that and paint it. But I want to get most of this stuff so it's done, pretty much done in a stage of being done, because cars are never technically done. So in like a stage of being done, then I can move on to the next thing. Because the VR4, I want to put a single turbo on it. I mean, it's a nice, clean. I mean, I think that's a low mile car. I think it only has like 100,000 miles or something on it. Nice, clean JDM car. But it would be nice to, put a single turbo on it and maybe make 500 horsepower on it or something like that. Same thing with the Pulsar. Clean it up. I want to paint that car, refresh the SR in it, get it tuned, make maybe 350, 400 horse, etc. on it. So the FD, I want to make, I don't know, 500-600 horse. It already made 5, so probably 600 horse on it. Paint the engine bay. The rotary's fine in it. Tranny's fine. The clutch is fine. I just pulled all that stuff for making the exhaust manifold, and then the engine bay was really, I don't know, they hit a bunch of stuff on it. Not really hit, but just like scratched the paint, so it looks not that great. So I just want to, same thing, clean it up. But I want to have a bunch of this stuff done, so it's running and driving, it's done, and it's not just a bunch of stuff sitting around, because it's a bunch of cool stuff, but it's just like right now a bunch of stuff. And it's really nice putting the charger back together, because these shelves, look, I have a empty pallet shelf, an almost empty pallet shelf. That pallet over there is missing a bunch of stuff. I mean, the more stuff I put together, the less stuff I have on shelves, which is nice. So we'll get there. Let's see how much power I have. 9% battery life. As a huge Dodge fanboy, what brands would you choose if you lived in Europe? Any fun cars from this region? I don't know. I mean, I like Volvos. Volvos are cool. Some BMWs are cool. I mean, any car could technically be cool. So, I don't know. I'd probably, if I lived in Europe, I'd probably still have a Hellcat. So, I don't know. I don't know if I'd drive it much, because you pay by the liter, but. Let's see. Giveaway with view to enter. What measures are you gonna go against? Mopars getting stolen so easy. Hellcats, Durangos, Chargers are all getting stolen left and right. Dodge still has not released a fix. So the issue is, it could be like any car. I think they just choose Dodges because there's so many. So if you look at other cars, like, they're not going to steal Ferraris and Lamborghinis because it's harder to sell the parts. So the issue with Dodges is you have the Hellcat or the Scat Pack, you have the Durango Hellcat, you have a bunch of different variants. They all have the same engine, and they also have a whole line of like base models that came with V6s, that came with the 5.7, whatever they put them in them now. And it's easy to sell Hellcat swaps for 15 grand or whatever to somebody that paid 30 grand for a V6 Charger, and they're going to put, you know, a $15,000, $12,000 Hellcat swap in it, and now they have pretty much a Hellcat. So I don't feel like it's a Dodge issue. I feel like because most of the people that are stealing these cars are getting the key codes from the key fobs, and you could do that with any brand of car. I mean, they're just using a sniffer. So, I mean, you could go up to a BMW, do the same thing. It's just easier to sell parts when you can make an easy 15 grand. You could sell brakes for, you know, $1,500. You can sell the seats in the interior for like 1,500 to 2,000 fast. I mean, you could sell those in like a day. Like the same thing with the engines. I mean, you could sell a Hellcat engine for like a engine transmission with the wiring in the ECU, even though the VIN is coded the ECU, in like a week, and nobody cares. I mean, the chances of somebody like getting caught that does that is very slim. I mean, you see how many times the police raid these garages and they have stripped, you know, hundreds of cars or, you know, multiple cars. So I don't think it's a Dodge issue. I feel like it's the only issue is Dodge makes a Hellcat, and they also make a V6 Challenger and a V6 Charger, and like base models is the whole issue. The issue isn't Dodge, it's the lineup. So I don't know. It's one of those things. It's like Civics. They always got stolen. If it's going to get stolen, if they're going to do it, I mean, if somebody wants something bad enough, it's going to happen. I mean, it's just one of those things. You deserve to win the donut challenge. You've done huge work breathing new life into the brand and bringing a new audience to look at these cars in a cool way. Thanks, I appreciate that, Patrick. You should do the same thing that Whistling Diesel did with his truck. Put a second Hellcat motor in the back of the Durango. I don't know. I like the third row seating. I want the Durango to be nice. I was almost thinking I could pull the engine and tranny out of the Durango, put in the Charger temporarily, and then just put like a built engine in the Durango and then a built engine in the Charger, and then just have a spare or something. I don't know. I'm not sure yet, but that's a possibility. But I don't know. I like the Durango, even though I bought it to strip everything out of, which is crazy. And then it ended up being too nice and not as I don't know. It's pretty bad. It wasn't as bad as I thought it was from the auction. But tell me more about Donut Challenge. What position are they offering? So they're offering. So what you end up doing is you're pretty much like an influencer for Dodge. So the thing around it is, I don't really know what they're looking for somebody to do social media. So I feel like they would want somebody that's already done social media and been an influencer. Like, I feel like technically I'm an influencer. I have a decent following. I mean, it's not crazy, but and I work with companies already. I know how to make videos. I know how to use Instagram and TikTok and all these platforms, because I feel like it'd be very difficult to just like tell somebody to download all these apps with zero following and be like, here you go. I mean, I don't know. I mean, so, I mean, hopefully, what's going on here? Hopefully it works out, and hopefully I get it, because it'd be cool, because it'd just be awesome. I mean, it's already stuff that I do. Plus, you get to go to all of Dodge's events technically as a VIP, so that'd be awesome too. How's the GTO coming along? I'm waiting for. I think ATI might have machined the hub on the pulley wrong, but I'm waiting for another installer. Hopefully, it goes good tomorrow. How many cars do you have? What are they? I don't know. I have a lot of cars. A lot. Someone stole one of the snorkels on the top of my Suzuki's, and it rained a lot. Haven't done anything yet. What should I do? Remove spark plugs, turn engine with oil in cylinders if water has gotten in. I think, I mean, I'd definitely make sure to see if there's any like water in there. But usually those snorkel, I don't know, how much has it rained? Like, usually those snorkels just come down and I don't know, I think there'd be water kind of in the base. So maybe pull the coupler, see if there's any water in there. Maybe if there isn't, you're all right. If there is, maybe pull the spark plugs and I'd just crank it over. It'll shoot all the water out of it. Don't look at it while you're cranking it, because I knew some guy that did that, and the cylinder was full of fuel, got a face full of fuel. But and then you can put some oil in it. I mean, it depends. If there's water in the cylinder, it's not going to hurt it to crank it over a few times. You could also rotate it by hand if you want. Then if you want, you could, obviously stick some. I like using tranny fluid because it's really thin, and then you could get it in there, put some tranny fluid in, crank it over a few more times, put the spark plugs back in, and fire her up. Should be good. Do you like Mustangs? Yeah, I think they're all right. I like pretty much every car. I think they're all cool. Some people do some weird mods to cars, which I may not like, but it's not my car. So I do like a lot of cars. I mean, they're all different to drive. They're all very, very unique. So it's my phone's almost out of power. I have 4%, so I'm going to end this live stream here. But before I go, and before you leave the channel, if you haven't checked it out, if you could view my Chief Donut Maker video. It's only like a minute and 15 seconds long. I'd appreciate it. And if you could share it as well, maybe I'll get some more traction on it. And see you guys next time. I was hoping to have a video Monday, but it'll be Tuesday. And we'll have another charger video this week too. So we'll have the subframe done, maybe welded and powder coated this week, hopefully. And we'll go from there. But as always, for the donations, see you guys next time.